I'm Chef Danie and welcome to Chef Danie Cooks. Today we are going to be stuffing bell peppers, and we're going to stuff them with fresh veal and a marinara sauce with a little bit of rice, and we're also going to top them with fresh mozzarella, bake that off in the oven, and while that's baking we're going to make an appetizer of some flattened arancinas. So come right back to learn how to make this great meal at home.
Ocean Springs Fresh Market is situated in the depot parking lot in tranquil downtown Ocean Springs. The Fresh Market takes place every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. year-round, rain or shine. The Fresh Market is based on the great European food and plant markets. And in our own small way, we are recreating that wonderful atmosphere of great food offerings by small regional producers. It is a place to take your family, meet old friends, and make new ones. Unlike faceless supermarkets, the Fresh Market gives you direct contact with the grower or producer of the items in your shopping bag. In short, we offer everything that makes life worth living: food, friends, and fun. Come and see us and join our growing family of customers and vendors.
Welcome back. I'm getting my olive oil and my chopped garlic into the pan. You want the pan on warming while you're getting everything ready. I'm using a large pan because we're going to add some rice and some marinara, and we're going to build a stuffing, and we're going to have quite a lot of it. So I wanted to make sure the pan had plenty of room. Also today we're using a fresh veal. This is a grain-fed veal, and it comes from the local dairy farm, Country Girls Creamery. This veal does not have a lot of fat in it, so we're going to add to our pan a little bit of butter as well as the olive oil, because we're going to have to add a little extra fat into this meal because the veal doesn't have a lot in it to help cook. We don't want it all sticking to the pan. So I've got about 2 teaspoons of the butter. I add that in with the olive oil. What the butter does also with the olive oil is it helps the smoke temp of the olive oil. Olive oil will smoke at a really low temperature and butter doesn't, so they kind of help each other out. Plus it'll add a lot of flavor to the dish. And we're going to go ahead and get our veal in here, and then we're going to put some chopped onions as well. And like I said, this is a grain-fed veal. Anytime you get a grain-fed veal, it's a little bit older than just a milk-fed veal, but they tend to have a little less fat. And that will make the veal stick to the pan. It'll make it a little more difficult to deal with. So you just have to compensate by adding just a little more fat yourself. Get this spread out evenly. There we go. Now we want to get some onion in there because we want to add flavors. I'm going to use just a regular yellow onion. We're going to cut about half of this up to put in there. And we're going to use some rice in this dish. Now this is a great idea for some leftover rice because I have beautiful bell peppers that I got from the Fresh Market, and I had some leftover rice. And we got this beautiful veal, and that sounds like a great meal all put together. I think going to the market a lot of times inspires you on what you want to have for dinner. But you should always look for what's fresh, what's in season. Your local farmers markets are the best ones to try, and we have some wonderful ones in this area now. So you go to the market, you look around, you see what they have, and that decides what you have for dinner. Alright, we're just going to brown this veal off. We don't want to overcook it too much because we're going to cook it again in the oven. But we basically want to get it good and browned. We don't want any raw pieces going in there. You want to make sure too, as it's cooking, that you keep separating the veal. That'll help get more surface area on the pan. It helps it to cook a little faster. Spread this out a little bit more, and we want to salt and pepper and a little bit of garlic and onion. Always use fresh black pepper. Grind it yourself right over your dish. The flavor is a lot different than the stuff you buy that's already ground. For just a little bit of effort. A little bit of salt. Got an onion powder. Check your ingredients. When you buy onion powders, make sure the ingredient is onion. Same with the garlic. You don't need any additives or preservatives in a dried spice. There's absolutely no reason for them to be in there. What they should do is take the onion or the garlic, dry it, grind it, and put it into a container. A lot of times they'll add things to it, just try to stretch it, so check and make sure what you're getting. All right, I'm going to let that brown for just a second, and while that's doing that, I'm going to show you how we're going to get the bell peppers ready. Now, we have a nice sized bell pepper. They're not too large. It's kind of a medium size. This will be great for a serving portion. You could do one or two depending on if it's a child or an adult, and it'll make a great meal. So the way I like to do the peppers, I like to do them fresh. I don't pre-cook my peppers, but we want to cut the top off, want to get the seeds out, and try to get as much of these ribs as you can. Not a lot going on there with the ribs, and they're kind of in the way for us to stuff. There we go. And you've made like a little cup. Now you need to check it to see how it sits, and this one does pretty well. If it doesn't sit level on your board, then you might want to trim the end just a little to make it sit so that when we stuff it, it's going to sit in the pan. Stir this one more time. Now we'll do a few more of the bell peppers. I've got 6 all total. It's going to be enough for 4. And when you cut the tops off, especially in a dish like we're making, you can take the top. Of course, you don't want to make sure you don't get the core. Go around the edge. Cut that meat off of the edge of the pepper, and then we can chop that and put that into our veal. Now the next thing we're going to add is our marinara sauce. I've got fresh marinara sauce. We make our own at the restaurant. We jar it and sell it at all the fresh markets. This is made from fresh local tomatoes and our own seasonings. We're going to put that in there. Stir that around. And then we're going to add the rice. Now, like I said, we have leftover rice that we're using. It's a great way to use leftover rice. This is a jasmine rice. We had some left over from a cashew chicken that we made. We're going to use all of that. It's a great way to use up leftovers. Stir this around and get it all mixed in. I'm going to let this cook down for just a few more minutes, and when we come back, we're going to stuff our bell peppers and get them into the oven.
This is Capone's Italian restaurant. Yeah, Capone's. An unforgettable name for some unforgettable meals. The best Italian food on the coast, you better believe it. Listen, when you call and get a reservation, order Big Al's spaghetti and meatballs, or maybe Capone's pesto shrimp with their in-house pesto sauce. Try their unforgettable chicken spinaci, fettuccine, Capone's signature lasagna, and manicotti. They're to die for. Here's the number. That's the reserve the special chef's table. Sit down or guaranteed seating. Everything's fresh and homemade. And with a name like Capone's, it had better be good, and it is.
rice and veal has finished cooking down, and now we're ready to stuff our peppers. Now, I'm going to use a small container, and what I like to do, since we have a lot of rice and we're only doing 6 peppers, we're going to put a little bit of the rice down on the bottom first. I always do that to hold the peppers in place, keeps them from falling over when you're baking them, but it also gives you a little bit of extra rice on the bottom for when you want a little extra rice. Let's do about half of that. All right, now on top of this, I'm going to go ahead and get some mozzarella, just like we're going to put on top of the bell peppers. We have some mozzarella from the same farm, the Country Girls Creamery. This is a block of their fresh mozzarella, and we're going to open it up and just put slices. Comes in a ball. There we go. We're going to just do some slices, thin slices on here, and then I'm going to do thin slices on top of the bell pepper. We just need a couple, and you can see that it's soft. Nice soft cheese. They make really, really good mozzarella. Let's do 4 of those. And then we'll get our bell peppers started. I'm going to set that over here. Now I've got the bell peppers. I've got a spoon. I'm just going to hold the bell pepper in my hand, and I'm going to start putting the rice down into the bell pepper. Now remember, the rice mixture is hot, so try not to get it all over your hands. But you need to start with a little, and it helps to use a small spoon like this. You don't want one of the big stirring spoons. Start with a small one. And now you can slowly start pushing it down in there. You want it to be mounded up just a little on the top, just like that. And we're going to set that in our dish. We're going to finish stuffing all of them that way. Now you could leave the meat out of this dish if you'd like. You could do this with just the rice if you wanted to make it a vegetarian. You could also add extra veggies in there, and that'd be a nice stuffing for these bell peppers, and it would be a 100% vegetarian dish. You could also use the same stuffing for portobello mushrooms and different colored bell peppers. You can stuff pretty much anything with this stuffing. Here we go. Let's do one more. Right there. Now we're going to a little bit more mozzarella to go on the top. Just lay it over the top, because when this melts in the oven, it's going to melt down over the top of the bell pepper. It's going to look beautiful and toast up on the top and be delicious. One more. This guy a little piece of cheese over here. He only got half a piece of cheese. There we go. Now I'm going to put this in the oven. I have the oven set at 450. Everything is warm. We're trying to just melt the cheese and get it nice and toasty on the top. So we're going to go in the oven with this at 450.
Ocean Springs Fresh Market is situated in the depot parking lot in tranquil downtown Ocean Springs. The Fresh Market takes place every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. year-round, rain or shine. Fresh Market is based on the great European food and plant markets. And in our own small way, we are recreating that wonderful atmosphere of great food offerings by small regional producers. It is a place to take your family, meet old friends, and make new ones. Unlike faceless supermarkets, the Fresh Market gives you direct contact with the grower or producer of the items in your shopping bag. In short, we offer everything that makes life worth living: food, friends, and fun. Come and see us and join our growing family of customers and vendors.
That's going to take about 20 minutes in the oven. So what we're going to do while we're waiting on that to cook is we're going to make the flattened arancina. So I'm going to get another pan, sit this back here. Now, arancina are rice balls, and sometimes they're stuffed with mozzarella, and sometimes they're stuffed with meat, bolognese. They can be stuffed with just about anything. But it's a nice little snack that you snack on. They sell them a lot of carnival time in Italy. But what we're going to do is flatten them so that we can cook them in a shallow pan and so that we can cook them a little faster. Now, I've got some extra virgin olive oil in the pan. I'm going to put a little bit more. We don't want it deep enough for a deep fry, but we want it enough to where we can put the cakes in there and they're going to fry up on each side. Let's get this in here. Now, I have leftover risotto. We're going to take the leftover risotto and we're going to put that in a bowl. Anytime you make risotto, it usually makes a lot. This was one bag of risotto and it made more than we needed. So even though this risotto has mushrooms and bell peppers and all the good stuff in it, it's great to use to make these rice balls because it already has all that flavor going on. So save all your leftover risotto and make sure you reuse it to make arancina. We've got one egg that we're going to put in here. And then we're going to put about a half cup of Italian breadcrumbs. You may add more. You're going to have to check that out when you're mixing it. We can always add more. And we're going to put a little bit of Parmesan. All right, we're going to mix this all together. The egg is the binder to help hold it together, and the breadcrumbs are to help kind of dry it out. So they're working against each other. You're going to have to just kind of feel the consistency. It also depends on how much risotto you have left over. But what we're trying to get it to do is to come together into some little patties. And I think I'm ready now to see if that's going to work. If they don't stick together, then we'll have to put some more breadcrumbs. And they look like they're going to stick. So arancina are normally made into a ball like this. And like I said, sometimes they're stuffed with mozzarella, they're stuffed with meat, but we're not going to stuff them today, and we're going to flatten them so we can have a quick and easy version of arancina. And we also want to get another plate and get some breadcrumbs on that plate. And we're going to dip them in the breadcrumbs before we go in the oil. So one side, and then the other side, and then we're going to go straight in to the hot oil. And that's the sound you want to hear when you put them in there. Frying up already. These are delicious appetizer. They're quick and easy. Like I said, anytime you have leftovers, they're easy to make, and people love them. One more. And then I think we'll be ready to flip. All right. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit so we don't get splashed with it. And let's see if this guy's ready to flip over. Should be nice and golden brown. Look at that. It's beautiful on that side. Let's try one more. Oh, that one's ready too. This is what you're looking for. You're looking for that nice golden brown color on there, and it just takes a couple minutes on each side to get that golden brown. And then once we get them out of the pan, we're going to put them on a plate, on a paper towel to drain for just a few minutes, and we're going to serve them with our bell peppers. So when we come back, we're going to get those out of the oven, these on a plate, and we're going to get to the table to have our dinner.
This is Capone's Italian Restaurant. Yeah, Capone's. An unforgettable name for some unforgettable meals. The best Italian food on the coast, you better believe it. Listen, when you call and get a reservation, order Big Al's spaghetti and meatballs, or maybe Capone's pesto shrimp with their in-house pesto sauce. Try their unforgettable chicken spinaci, fettuccine, Capone's signature lasagna, and manicotti. They're to die for. Here's the number. That's the reserve the special chef's table. Sit down or guaranteed seating. Everything's fresh and homemade. And with a name like Capone's, it had better be good, and it is.
You think that's surprising? Get this, Diet Dew has all the intensity of regular Dew, but none of the calories.
There's an all-new Diet Dew Ultraviolet, a new mixed berry.
Dessert, we're going to make stuffed strawberries, and we're going to stuff them with mascarpone cheese. Now, when you say cheese, everybody thinks of something savory, but you use cream cheese in a sweet way. Mascarpone is an Italian-style cream cheese, so that's what we're going to do for our strawberries. First, we're going to mix up the filling, which is going to be about half of a container of whipping cream, and we're going to put that on to whip. We're going to put about half a cup of some powdered sugar in there. And we're going to have to turn this on high to get the cream to whip. Now, we'll warn you, when you are whipping cream, you need to stay with the mixer. If you walk away and let it whip, it will turn into butter. And we don't want butter. So here we go. All right, our cream has thickened up, and you'll see how it's kind of stiff now. Now we're ready to add the mascarpone cheese. Now we're going to use a whole container of mascarpone, and like I said, mascarpone is an Italian version of a cream cheese. You can use it sweet or savory. You can use it just by itself on bread or on a muffin. It's really good. But I like to use it in this recipe, and we use it a lot with different fruit dishes and also to make a tiramisu. Get all of that out of there. You can usually find this at your grocery store or at a specialty cheese shop. We're going to mix that in together. And I'm going to chop just a little bit of mint. And then we're going to put some mint in there and add the mint to it. Get a new knife. Now, mint is going to add a little bit of green, but it's also going to add a little bit of minty flavor to it. Not a whole lot, just a little. And then we'll top it with mint also to give some more green. Now, the way we present this at the restaurant is we take a plate and we fill the center of the plate with whipped cream. And then we get our strawberries ready. Now, the strawberries we're going to stuff. So we want to make a hole in the center of the strawberries. And you can find one of these little handy knives to garnish with, but you just want to go into the strawberry. It looks like I'm cutting the best part of the strawberry out, but we're going to use that center part to stuff with our filling. Because at home, a lot of times you don't have, a pastry bag or a piping bag that we might have. So we use a Ziploc. And when you zip it up, you want to try to get a lot of the air out. That's the whole purpose of a Ziploc anyway. All right, and then you want to make sure you get it all to one corner, and we're going to snip that corner off just a little bit, if the scissors will cut. Just enough to have a big enough hole to go into the strawberry. And then you're going to take your strawberries, and you're going to put that in the hole, and you're going to pipe your cream into the strawberry. All right, now I'm going to get some chocolate syrup, and we're going to drizzle chocolate syrup all over the top of that. You could do this with any fruit, and you could especially do it with any berry. And then we're going to take a little bit more powdered sugar, and we're just going to dust the plate. Welcome back. Our bell peppers are just coming out of the oven. They're nice and toasty on the top, and the cheese on the bottom has melted into the extra rice that we put down there. So now we're just going to top this with a little bit of Parmesan cheese. And it's beautiful the way that it is, so it's going to go to the table just like this. Just make sure that you have something under it while it's warm. Now I also took our risotto that we made, our arancina flat cakes, and I plated those for a single serving. So we have our appetizer, and then we have our beautiful stuffed bell peppers. I want to thank you for joining me today for Chef Danie Cooks. I hope to see you next time, where we're going to make another great Italian meal together. Until then, ciao bella.